The next painting we're going to work on is the Black-Eyed Susan. This is one iteration of it. You can do it with the leaves in different places. You can do it with a round center instead of a square center. Of course, other than this color combination, you can really do anything. I put a little orange in here just for a little contrast on the yellow because it's so simple. So this is what we're going to work on. What I've done here is draw out the grid, the design for this, because it is a little bit complicated. This is a 5-grid design, and so you have to divide 12 inches or 24 inches by 5 in order to get it. So what I do is I have a ruler that has millimeters on it, and so I found the one that came closest to fitting this size, which was 30 millimeters, so it was easy to divide it into 5. So that's how I came up with the grids for this. I divided into 5. I went around each side and marked off the spaces. The one in the center line cuts this middle grid in half all the way down. The same thing with it going across horizontally. But I marked all the little sections and then drew the lines across, and then started from there, drawing in the design features. I have a drawing here that I think you will have on your screen and in your downloads that kind of draws it out with a little more contrast so you can see what's what in there, because there's lots of lines. So what I do with this is, after I get these lines in the basic design, then I go in and start to erase the lines that aren't a part of the drawing. That line there can go. I did the center one in red because it stands out a little bit better there. So this will go. 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 What some quilters do when they kind of get the hang of everything is when they draw their design, they don't run the lines all the way across. If they know there's a section where you will have to erase the lines, they just go to a certain place and stop, and that way they don't have to go back and erase the lines. But that takes a lot of experience. Okay, now I'm going to finish up this whiteboard drawing of the Black-Eyed Susan by marking in where the leaves are, because they're kind of unorthodox and it'll make it easier to follow when I tape and paint. So I'm going to start over here and just kind of put that in there. This one here. I'm following this design here. Over here it goes like this. Over here it goes like this. Then I'll just erase some of the other lines that won't be in it. Okay, now you can see the design coming together there, and that will be my guide as I tape my board. So we'll go from there on to painting the Black-Eyed Susan. What I've done here again is I took chalk and kind of colored in some of the different spaces, different colors that are going to, they won't be the same colors, but just so I can keep track of what's what on this before I start painting. I drew this with a pen, so these lines probably won't erase when I go to paint, but this is just a demonstration so you'll see the steps that I went through. I need my glasses for this. This one has lots of small areas and nooks and crannies, so it's not the easiest thing to tape off. The taping, as you'll find out, takes many times longer than the actual painting. The painting goes very, very fast. It's the drawing and the taping, especially the taping, that takes the most time. Okay, there's the first section there. What I've done is started with the leaves, so I'm going to continue and tape off the leaves. They're not the darkest part, so it'll be okay. And you can see I've learned to keep the tape a little bit longer so that it's easier to trim with my razor. Okay. You can use a utility knife instead of a razor, but this, by doing it the way I do it, pulling against the tape, it doesn't cut into your board, so I'm trying to avoid cutting holes in my board. Okay, one more section here. If I miss a little section, then I just trim it off or move it out of the way. Let's see here. Go up there. Goes across, this goes. Okay, now I'm going to compare it to the painting, see if, excuse me, if I missed anything. There it goes there. Goes there, this goes there, and this goes there. It looks like it's okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is remove the chalk. As I mentioned, in this case I can't erase the lines because I did them in pen so they would show up better. You just can't see in the videotape when it's just a pencil. Okay, then I'm going to press down a little bit with this card to make sure the edges are sealed well. Okay, now I'm ready to paint. Even if I've not used my paint for only a short time, I always re-stir it because it does get a little oily, even though it's a water-based paint. I want to mention while I'm talking about paint, most artists use exterior paint. You have several coats, and it's made to be used outdoors, so they normally don't seal it or put a coat of varnish on it after it's done. However, there is one prominent artist I just learned about who's done thousands of barn quilts, sells dozens every month, and she uses the interior paint because you can buy the little samples of the interior. You can't of the exterior, but the interior you can buy the small, like 6-ounce or 9-ounce samples, and you can get every color. You don't have to mix colors because they come in so many colors, and that way you have a greater variety. When you buy the exterior paint, it is more expensive, so I buy the basic colors and then mix the other ones I need, like the turquoise, the pinks, the purples. At this point, I haven't bought a lot of paint, so I have to mix to get the colors I want. Okay, my little foam brush here. Keep double checking because I want to make sure I don't get it wrong, as I tend to do many times. I missed a little spot of tape here, but I think I can make a straight enough line that it won't matter. The first layer always is very, very thin looking. That's why you have to put usually 3 layers minimum. Sometimes more. As I touch up, I can add a little more paint, but if it's not right on the edges, it's easy to do it once you've taken the tape off. Okay. Okay, there's that. Now we're going to wait for a little while to let this dry. Okay, we are here with the Black-Eyed Susan. I'm done with the first couple of coats of the green leaves, so I'm going to remove the tape from that and tape the next section. found that if I put the tape down flat, it doesn't curl up as much as if I stick it on the side of the table. So I'm trying that so I can reuse some of it. Okay, all these parts are actually yellow. This paint has sat for a little while, so I need to stir it up pretty good. Now I'm not erasing lines on this one because I did it in pen so that you could see it better. So when it's finished, the lines will probably show, but this one is just for teaching purposes. If I can get the tape off my finger, we'll get somewhere. There we go. Okay. In this case, it's all yellow. I haven't decided yet what color I'm going to make the background. The original has a lighter, more of an olive green. I may do something different with this one just for fun, but I'll make that decision when I get there. Okay, let's see where I am. This comes down. Take there. This one goes out here. Yellow, yellow. Goes like this. Now, I think I've about got it. I'm going to check it really, really carefully because it's a complex design. I have to really make sure I've got it right. Just here, I missed a spot right here. Right there. Okay, there. I need to do a tape around the middle too because the middle section will be a different color. No, this one here. That needs to go this way. Keep my pen apart. Okay. Two more. Okay, one more look. Aha, found another one. They keep coming up. So scraps come in handy for little nooks and crannies in there. Now, okay. Yellow, yellow. I think we've got it. I hope. Okay, that is the first coat of the yellow on this one, so we'll let that set aside and move on to another area. I just put another coat on. It dried pretty fast, so I'm going to go ahead and start taking the tape off. It helps to have a toothpick when you're taking off the tape. Which I can't, there it is. Alrighty. They say on the last layer of your paint that you can take the tape off just before it gets dry, that it will not peel off as easily. This one already is dry, but it's only been dry for a few minutes. It's hard to tell where the tape is. When you're using yellow tape on the yellow background, you can't always see where it is. This yellow frog tape is the tape of preference for most barn quilt artists. It works better than blue painter's tape as far as keeping your lines nice. Okay, I can see I'm going to have some touch-up to do, but in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and do the center, which I'm going to do in brown. And then I may add a little orange around the edges. In fact, I think I'll do the orange first because I can use the same brush. This won't be really thick. This will be just kind of a light touch here. I'm going to go ahead and try this without taping so I can come back and touch up when I'm done. Okay, that's the first coat. This will need 2 more coats like everything else. Okay, now I will need another coat on the background. I haven't actually decided what color I'm going to use. I may use the light green like I did last time, or I may pick something different. So after this dries, then I will retape this and make that decision. But I think you've seen enough to know how this one progresses. This is the Black Eyed Susan finished. These colors I really enjoyed working with. The blue background, I decided to use the blue background. That paint went on very, very nicely, as well as the green and the yellow. The Mariner's Compass, which you'll see, those colors were not as vivid and thick as these particular colors. So I think you'll find as you work that some colors work better than others, and make your choices that way.